Hey everybody, welcome back to 2 Cents, where I give you my opinion on things that absolutely nobody has asked for. And today we're going to be talking about Jack Doherty, or, I don't even care if I pronounce his last name right, or, as he's known across the webs, the most vile YouTuber in America, because he is an absolute despicable human being who I just cannot stand. Now, if you don't know, Jack Doherty has made content based off of physically assaulting people, to annoying people, to being just a complete trash human being, all for clicks, does not care about anybody other than himself and the views and the money that he makes from all this content. Things ranging from like walking in a mall, bumping into people, and trying to get a reaction, and then sicking his guard dog security man on these people, sometimes physically assaulting these people for no reason, claiming that his dad owns these businesses that they're in or whatever. It's an absolute garbage human being thing to do, and I cannot stand it. In my opinion, content creators like this need to be stopped. That we don't need a place for this. This is doing nothing but hurting like these communities and this entire sort of thing that we're doing. And recently, Jack Doherty, I guess he got a McLaren, a fantastic, beautiful car, one of my favorite cars personally. I'll probably never own, but he got into this car and he was not only driving down the road in very fast on a rainy day, which not the best thing to do. But hey, I've got a lead foot myself. I'm not gonna knock anybody for having speeding a little bit. However, I don't even think he was speeding a little bit. I'm pretty sure he was going maybe 90 to 100 miles plus in the pouring rain on a public highway. And not only was he doing all of that, all these dangerous things, he also was not the only person in the car. He also had him and his buddy in the car, and we'll get to that here in a second. But during this Sunday drive, as it were, Jack Doherty decides that he doesn't want to pay attention to the road on these terrible and harsh conditions that he's driving through. He would rather pay attention to chat. I guess was live streaming his little car thing going on the highway or whatever, and he was paying attention to the chat. There's a video of him driving with his phone right here up in front of his face. He's not even paying attention to the road. I'm even sure he looks over at the camera to make sure it's catching his good side or whatever the hell he's doing. And then he proceeds to lose control of the vehicle. Shocker, I know. I would not have seen it coming either. Now, he lost control of the vehicle, he crashed, and it wasn't a light fender bender. It was an actual significant crash. Now, I didn't see pictures or like an uncensored video. I heard there was blood across, his injured friend's face, Jack Doherty. They both got dragged out of the vehicle. I guess they couldn't open the doors or something. But Jack got drug out of the vehicle. He didn't care at all for his friend. Friend, right? Instead, Jack wanted to care more about making content out of this crash. And what really strikes me as odd in this entire situation is there's no remorse on his face. There's no guilt. There's no, apologetic look. He doesn't even sound sincere in anything he says. He doesn't check up on his friend. He's not like, hey, are you all right? He's there recording. He's like, here, hold my phone. I gotta, get this for the content, right? I gotta get this all for the clout. And so he does. And it works. People, a lot of people like to see car crashes. I think it's like watching a train crash. You just can't look away, right? I don't knock people for wanting to watch it. I just hate that it's being portrayed through such a terrible individual who's doing it who's making these dangerous situations. It almost feels like it's on purpose. Even from the video, I don't know, and this is my pure speculation. I can't say whether or not this is true, but whenever I saw the video of him with, driving and not paying attention, he was looking at chat, it struck me as really odd, almost like it was a planned crash. You know what I'm saying? Like, it almost looked like he was like, oh, hey, I want to get into like a small, like, I don't think he wanted it to go to like maybe this extent. I don't think so. I certainly hope not. But it certainly kind of looked to me like, hey, like a scheme had formed. I don't even know if it was pre-planned, if he just thought about it in the moment, but it looked kind of to me like he was getting ready and he was like, you know what? Today's a good day for a crash. He's going to make some excellent content. And it certainly does. And so what happened was the crash happened, and the moment he even gets pulled from the car, he's handing his phones to somebody saying, hey, record this. He's going over to his friend who's apparently really bloody and injured, and he's going, hey, here, hand me your phone and use mine to record. I want to make content out of this. We're going to make content. Content. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to make this kind of content, but for the life of me, I would never be caught dead streaming and driving and looking at chat. But more so, if that even if it's a wild hair day and I'm out of my mind and I do that, I'm still checking on my friend who just crashed. I'm responsible as your driver to make sure that you get from point A to point B in one piece. If something happens to where we don't get from point A to point B, I'm checking up on you. That's the least I can do as a human being, right? That's not what Jack does. Instead, Jack uses an opportunity, like I've said, for content. And this isn't the first instance of this. Apparently, something that happened where an intruder, and this is a really weird situation too. There was an intruder who went over to Jack's house and vandalized one of his Lamborghinis, which I'm like, this guy's got a McLaren and a Lamborghini. What? Maybe clout chasing maybe it is the way to go, right? Maybe it ain't all that bad, huh? Not really. I'm not ever going to do that. I hope not. Somebody smack me if I do, right? And as she opens the door, they're having an exchange, and it's like a heated exchange. Like, don't you ever come here? And something gets bleeped out. I don't know what they're saying. And then she assaults the dude, closes the door on him. He reopens the door and has some comment to say. Like, you just filmed yourself assaulting a dude. Now, I don't know if this is on your property. I don't know what the rules are about assaulting people who are on your property as a trespasser. I don't know. It just feels all really weird and bizarre. And this entire situation feels forced and fake. I don't know. But that was like the situation with that. And then even before that, he was making videos where like he was in a very nice looking establishment. I couldn't tell you what even this establishment was. And he like bumped into like an old dude, like senior citizen like level. And he said, "Hey, like watch your step," or something. He said something, right? Something to provoke this dude for, clicks, views, whatever. And the old dude was like, "Hey, you're being crazy. Like, you're being dumb. You're being stupid. Like, what's happening?" And then his guard dog of a security guard comes over, gets up in between them. Do your security guard thing, right? If you want to be security, be security. Make sure that your client is not getting messed up. Do your thing. Great. However, the senior citizen like put his hand up or something, right? And this security guard freaked out and like basically it looked really close to like it might have been like a minor assault on this old guy, and like shoved him back down. Not like on the ground or anything, but like shoved his arm all the way back down, and it was really forceful and it felt really bad like for the senior citizen. And the exchange continues, and I don't really know what happened after that, but like that's not a win for you, dude. Like, you just messed with, like, a senior citizen who was acting really peaceful through all of your antics. And it's not even the first case of that. Like, this happened where he would go and he would disturb public malls and businesses, and he would run into people purposefully by making his body bigger, doing, like, something like that or whatever. And he'd run into people. He would basically bump into them and be like, "Yo, watch where you're walking." Like, he would provoke things out of people, obviously for the clicks and everything. And then he'd have his security guard dog come and jump in and make sure, "Hey, my boy here is going to assault you. You try to get anywhere close to me." But then at the same time, there's a video of him at a party where security wasn't there to protect him. And all of a sudden, Jack changes. Jack's no longer, big hotshot, I'm going to talk shit to your face. He instead says, "I'm not going to give you the clicks." Oh, now he's the high ground, right? Now he's the big, better guy. They're at he was at some sort of party. Some other, I'm going to guess, content creator was like, "Yo, let's box. Like, you talking so much, let's box. Let's settle this, right?" He even brought boxing gloves, which, whatever. Okay. Whatever. The exchange happens. Jack looks like he's physically trying to make himself smaller to not be seen as he tries to scurry away. The bigger dude who has no shirt, who has the boxing gloves, who's kind of like starting or instigating this now, like tosses a glove over. Something happens. Everything kind of gets a little heated or whatever, and then clip ends for me. I didn't watch anything past that point. I don't know what happens past that point. That's where it stops for me. But all that, these are all examples of Jack Doherty's content. And it baffles me that this guy has a platform that is so successful, and it's like he's running out of ideas of how to be a jerk and a public nuisance. So now he knows that people don't like him. And one of the people I was watching about this whenever I was learning about all this was Internet Anarchist, and I think he said it perfectly. Yeah, I think he said it perfectly. He said that Jack is trying to he's trying to cash in on the fact that people don't like him and want to see him fail or get hurt or whatever, and now that's why he's kind of he's aiming his content towards that. And he was already on a destructive slope and a bad spiral, and now I think it's only going to get worse, and it could end with people being injured, hurt, maybe even worse. We hope not, right? And it's weird to me because these platforms that he's on aren't doing anything about it. I don't think this is content for these platforms like here on YouTube where it occurs. I think he got banned from Kick, and I kind of wish all the other platforms he uses would follow suit and make sure that he doesn't have a platform to stand on anymore. And it wouldn't be that way. Like, even if it was just, him being a public nuisance, like, he was annoying and we didn't like him, but it wasn't the level of he wasn't hurting anybody. Well, I think he did hurt somebody, and that off case, separate thing, he definitely deserved. I think he got sued for that, and he definitely needed to be sued. But if you're just being a public nuisance and you're not hurting anybody, and that's the kind of content you want to make, I don't think you're going to get very far, personally. But maybe with Jack Doherty, maybe I'm wrong, right? But I don't think that's the content I don't think you're going to get very far, but ultimately you're not hurting anybody. Do what you want. I don't care. Like, look at Punked. Punked was a great example of being kind of like a nuisance, but it worked. You were just pranking people, and these were good. These were actual pranks, and they stopped before anything, escalated too far. And it was a great show, and people loved Punked, and I loved Punked, and I think people saw the success of that, and now they've tried to escalate that even further because, you see the same thing over and over, and you're like, oh, I want it to get larger, bigger, better, right? And I think that's kind of what has contributed to the success and now probably downfall of Jack Doherty. But hey, these are just my opinions on the matter. These are my 2 cents, and I would love to have yours. If you like this video and everything and you want to help me out, go ahead and leave it a like and a comment. It really helps out the algorithm. And if you want to stay and see more, go ahead and leave a subscribe. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.